Hairier Problem. Rise of the Furball by Blue Bastard. Chapter 32. Fair Ultimatum. The last thing Babsy could recall was being at the Ponyfield train station, having waited for a train that wasn't going to come. But somehow a bunch of identical werewolves erupted from a freight car and swarmed the platform. It was in the middle of this swarming that at some point he had been knocked out, evidently because he had been full napped herself. Ugh, moaned Babs, putting a hoof to her head as it rang from whatever had knocked her out. She immediately registered the fact she was in a kind of prison cell, judging from the old iron bars right in front of her. Babs! Babs! Suddenly came the voice of Skulu. Babs, you okay? The brown filly's hair started to refocus, now allowing her to see that she was not alone in the cell. Skulu's sleepbell had evidently been waiting for Babs to wake up. He did not look like to be in the best condition. What happened? Asked the apple, realizing she hadn't quite stuff for herself. All I remember is a bunch of werewolves coming out of the train car. Yeah, somehow Fair Fist has a lot of identical twins all of a sudden. Must have used someone to full nap us. But why he didn't take apple blooms beyond me. Let me see Fireball's burning me again, suggested Sweetie. I was thinking about Peter being up, so you have to put up some kind of struggle, right? Babs could only nod, since how else could they explain the fact that all three of them were bruised with one or two cuts for each filling, and none of them were as energetic as they usually were. How much you want bad tiaras behind all this? Snorted Scootaloo. Thinking she wasn't full nap at all, but instead ally herself with Fista. Oh, bravo! The Crusaders finally figured it out. The prison trio looked around wildly for the sudden source of Tiara's droning voice. I'm over here, you idiots! Then on the right side of the bars materialized the altered form of the Crusader's scourge. Do you like my new look? It's quite nice myself. What? You finally realize your face is even stupider than before? Taunted Skulu, getting a laugh out of Crusaders. But seriously, you really had yourself be willingly turned into a monster? Tiara chuckled. Oh, is that what Apple Bloom is to you? A monster? Because he's not more of a werewolf than I am. I hope you realize that. You can't even keep your best friend! Sweetie bellowed in angry retaliation. You can tell the difference between you and Apple Bloom. Sun grinned with which Diamond brandished her sharp teeth, intimidated the tiny unicorn. You sure about that? She then beckoned another individual, seeing what she could not see, till a very unhappy looking silver spoon emerged to take her own wide spot to Tiara's side. You really are a monster, shouted Skulu, facing the bars of her hose wrapped around them tightly. She slid her eyes, gazing daggers downward the Lycan's rope. Diamond, for her part, didn't seem to give a buck. Oh, come, rang a new voice, eerily too cheerful given the circumstances. Tiara, you know better than to tease the new recruits. Of course, mistress, said Tiara, always thinking on a tone of innocence was reserved for kissing up to adults. But of more immediate concern was what who she was referring to as Alpha. It didn't take much guesswork, as a fairly contented Fair Fista was almost bouncing her way to the cell. Was a pluck kisser, always a pluck kisser, even when you're less of a pony than you were before, snorted Babs. I guess some things never change, even when the rest of you does to the point of becoming the very thing you swore Apple Bloom was. Worse. The harsh yet still haughty laughter came from Fista and Tiara, chilled the Crusaders to the bone, especially when the ancient werewolf seemed to have a gleam in her eye that couldn't mean anything good. Now, young one, the real monsters are the freaks who rule this land, and the poem killed my love last year. Don't give me a question look. You'll understand soon enough when you're part of our pack. We will never join you! See Skulu, sweet Babs smearing the same angry glare. Oh, but you alright, have. Vista suddenly snapped her head backward and let out a fearsome howl. Babs reeled back for the volume. But she noticed the terrified expression shared by Skulu and Sweet Belle. They declared their wounds were not from having given their all in a fight, or hide the fact that they had been cursed by Fair Fista and her new cohorts. It said that Babs could only watch in absolute horror as the Pegasus unicorn's bodies were malformed in the same manner that Apple Bloom's first transformation months prior. Something else wasn't right either. Tiara was the first to voice what every point he had noticed at that point. Wait a minute. Why is she changing like the others? You did bite down right as I told you to, Silver, said Fista. Her charm mannerisms having instantly changed to have a point on the furs of going postal. After all, I do recall having you be the one to turn brown one to part of our pack. I did. I did bite down. Hard, pleaded Silver. One cracked lens in her glasses, showing her eyes covering in fear. But maybe some ponies can't get hurt. Blast is a term used to be used in pup, interrupted Fista. Was it going out the deep end with her rage? Though I suppose it can't be helped if she's immune or something. We'll just have to rot here alone while the rest of Equestria is allowed to bask in what ponies were meant to always be. It would be nice to know how she's still burned with being only a pony, unlike her liberated companions, to be fair and all. Babs racked her mind, trying to come up with some excuse. I ate a good pizza back at Meat Hen. Don't you dare mention garlic having anything to do with werewolves, screamed Tiara, slicing her face against the bars and trying to swipe her claws at Babs in vain. Ha! That's my Betsley, said Skulu, evidently still having the strength to laugh despite the agonizing pains he had gone through, especially with how hard it hurt just to walk into a canine's muzzle. Meow, are you serious? Slee was slightly farther recovering, having managed to sit up as sloth resistant. What are you talking about? Mr. Silver, still wary of setting off Fair Fista. Babs rolled her eyes. Sweet didn't believe the whole comic thing at the school was actually your doing. Silver just stared. I literally told you guys it was us. During the whole Nightmare Night thing, Saddlewood went berserk on the news, and you still didn't believe me, even though the rest of what I said was true. Slee, now saying fully upright stride. I didn't think Tiara was naturally that stupid at the time. You think these bars will protect you, threatened Tiara. When you get out of here, I'm going to teach you why you need to show me some respect. Now, Tiara, sighs Fair Fista, slowly resuming her abundantly cheerful attitude. Well, can't let them out if we need them as bait to lure the apple bitches here. If I make an exception, yes. Since one of them can't inevitably be blessed to give the lycanthropy, I suggest we use her to our advantage in a different role. Go on. I say we release her to deliver a message to the so-called princess and her friends. Letting her know that Applejack and Applebloom are to come to this castle by themselves, or else we'll hurt the other two captives by turning them into our own. We already did that, Silver, pointing out Tiara, skepticism heavy in her voice. Then we already win. Even if the apples somehow have a chance to change against our pack. Diamond looked like she was going to argue a point, but Fairfist's nodding of approval silenced her. Maybe I was wrong about you, Silver Spoon. You might make a good werewolf yet. You may take the brown one and send her the ultimatum. Thank you, mistress. Babs, on the other time, barely had time to say goodbye to the other Crusaders before Silver insisted on hauling the Urbanite away. I thought you were cool, Silver, seized Babs, but I guess now, shut up and stay quiet and do exactly as I said if you want any chance of making it back home alive, whispered Silver, swinging Babs around so they were face to face. No effort, Silver wheeled her back to pointing form and took off her glasses. Tiara's fallen too far to know she could be saved. But do not doubt my spirit. I am and always will be a pony at heart. Right now, it's my duty as a pony to help warn those who can actually stop what Fair-Fisted plans to do. Your Highness, we cannot permit you to do this, declared Sky Racer, slamming a hoof down on the table alongside Golden Oaks. Saddlewood, Becca, our host, and under the careful superstition of Applejack, ponies closest to the princess were gathered in the library to discuss the grave situation in West Ponyville 5 of its village were in. I have to, Corporal. I'm a motherfucking princess, retorted Twilight, and I'm not going to let a couple of fillies be killed or worse turn into werewolves against their will without me having done anything in my power to try and prevent that. Your reasoning is sound, my liege, considered Daffodil. But it's our sworn duty to protect the royal patriarchy, which you are a member, and that protection extends to preventing you from wading barrel deep into a den of werewolves who will probably turn you into one of their own. Isolating when being able to, Mika corrected Raspberry. The raw magic that flows through their blood is far too strong for any strains of the curse to latch onto. Generally, they're the only species of pony that's inherently immune to the curse. I'm only immune because Basama built a failsafe into the curse that prevented him and any of his descendants from contracting it. Does that mean our Master Sea can also be killed by werewolves? Well, no. Then my point stands! The angry murmur from the grounded ponies did not indicate that that was what they wanted to hear. What do you propose we do, Corporal? We can pass the fact that you and the rest of the guards don't want us to go into their lair and at least try to save the innocents. The result of fusing a tornado with a hurricane is still building up over Castle Everfree, and we're certain Fairfist has something to do with it, as no weather ponies can do a thing to stop it! I'm wondering, who's more angry at this, at these idiots? Rainbow Dash or me? Because I'm thinking, I'm angry because I want to point out to the guards, you guys handle some civilian problems. Let the superpowers handle the supernatural problems. Why can't people ever get that? It's like, I'm a police officer. I want to take down Metallo. No, you stop the robber. Superman fights Metallo. It's perfectly A-okay. I mean, come on. Simple mathematics. Fleshy person plus superpowered being equals puddle on the ground. Superpowered being plus supervillain equals chance of being alive. Math! Skyracer scowled. We can't evacuate to town because that would give that monster or duplicates the perfect opening to attack the entire populace, while the ensuing chaos would prevent the guards from defending against the werewolves in an effective manner. So I guess this is a case of doubt if we do, doubt if we don't. Rhetorically asked Rarity. It's the same we can't just borrow the elements of harmony for this from the Tree of Harmony, since we can't risk the tree losing power again. Who knows what horrors could be unleashed? Rainbow nodded. For all we know, the only reason that storm hasn't gotten worse than it already has is because it's being tempered by the tree's power. Though, in that case, we don't know for how much longer it can hold the tempest back, since there's some kind of magic involved. I thought Rhea said something about being made of dark magic, said Applejack. I don't care what lycanthropy is made from and all, rat. Yeah, acknowledged Raspberry. But how Fairfist can form such a thing when she was originally an Earth Pony is beyond me. There's no way she could control any kind of magic without a horn, or possible biological adaptation to serve a similar purpose. I'm pretty sure her ability to spread lycanthropy through magic create drones, and that mirror pool theory is true and all. Which means she can use some magic, pointing out Sandalwood. After all, we pretty much agree Applejack has spread the curse of Applebloom by accident, not by a bite. So I had to assume she means cast magic in some way. This might sound crazy, interrupted Lightning, but even though you think it's dark magic, Raspberry, what was not directly from Vista? What do you mean? Stammered Fluttershy. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that stupid wolf and her army of narcissism is under this storm. But we're to hold up in those ruins, in the same ruins that Nightmare Moon was both created and destroyed. And that place is ripe with uncontrolled magic. The Everfree doesn't play by normal rules or anything, as it's already. Who's to say that storm is the forest reacting to a large evil presence building up in that same place? I hardly see how any point can come to that conclusion, given we didn't do this whenever Nightmare Moon was around, said Twilight. What makes Fairfist different from the beast that possessed Princess Luna? Nightmare Moon was merely a manifestation of Luna's dark side, said Raspberry, having figured out another part of the puzzle. For all the evil Alicorn did, she was neither a resurrected spirit, nor was there more than one of her. Additionally, of the 2 times Nightmare was at Castle Everfree, she was there for less than a couple of hours, if what has been told to me is all accurate. Vista has been there. Times how many clones of herself are there, for days. The Everfree may not have reacted to Nightmare Moon, simply because it didn't have time to perform a response like this. Why a star full of dark magic? It doesn't make sense that the Everfree would put out something like that. The forest is wild, but it's not evil like King Sun. Twilight froze when her eyes were locked with Raspberry's. Raspberry's face looking hurt, once again being called evil because of her magic handicap. The princess immediately made to apologize before realizing more of the truth. No. It's because the Everfree isn't evil. It's because they're using dark magic in a way we don't understand. Huh? Every pony in the room was confused. Raspberry, you're an example of this phenomenon. You're the closest thing to King Samurai, both lineage and raw power alive. But ponies still call you evil simply because you use dark magic. They see that as a sign of you being a high-level threat. Thus, they will act accordingly if they don't know better. Twilight, interrupted Pinkie Pie. You want to try explaining that in terms we understand? The Everfree is trying to help us, exclaimed the Alicorn, the full picture now clear to her. That makes no sense, argued Daffodil. It's a forest, not a living creature. You don't know that. Fluttershy caught every pony off guard when he turned out to be the one responding. Like Lightning said, Everfree doesn't play by the rules that's defined by ponies. I mean, it just has its own way to try and communicate with us. Well, certainly takes out the guesswork to figure out where Fair Fista is. But still leaves us with the problem of... Just then, there was a knock on the door. Your Majesty, one of the patrols has returned with one of the fillies who was full nap. He says he needs to talk to you. For Celestia's sake, boys! Cried out Sky Racer. Let the poor girl in! The door isn't exactly locked. The two-part door into Golden Oaks opened up, revealing a slightly beaten up Babsy with a guard flanking her on each side. Babs! Exclaimed Apple Bloom, saying the first thing to leave her mouth since leaving the hospital, and instantly charged right at her cousin to grapple her a big hug. I was so worried. Yeah, how did you escape? Asked Rainbow. What happened to Skulu and Sweetie, or Silver Spoon and Diamond Tiara? The way Babs seemed to try to figure out how to voice what she was going to say, immediately informed every pony that was not good. Curtain out for Twilight and the guards to shut the door for privacy. It's good to see you all, but really the only reason I'm supposed to have been able to return is to deliver some ultimatum to Applejack and Apple Bloom. I guess this is where we figure out why she's cooped up her main armor lookalikes in the Everfree ruins, said Applejack. Let me guess. She wants me and my sis to go alone to the castle to fight with her. It ain't fun business, me and the other four villains she's got on grass get turned to werewolves like us. Babs blinked a few times in surprise. Yeah, that's pretty much it. How did you? Applejack laughed. Not the first time I had to face off against an evil werewolf. Though, save alone didn't actually come back from the dead or have any actual clones come to think of it. Raspberry was more grim in her outlook. Well, why would she even bother saying an ultimatum? After that stunt at the train station, she would have figured out we know about the duplicates. Babs sighed. When she was talking to me and the other Crusaders, she seemed not to exactly be all quite there in the head, if you know what I mean. Pinkie nodded in agreement. That means she did call herself a miracle, and possessed the body. So identical minds occupying the same form. Well, the original could easily dominate the mind of the very copy. They are exactly the same minds to the level they were working harmony. Thus, the originals getting distorted and hard to the thought process going insane. How did you know all that? Asked Raspberry, dumbfounded. Doesn't! Tearfully answered Pinkie, leaving Raz with no further clues to what had happened. Twilight chuckled before going back to serious mode. Unfortunately, that means the nest of wolves is all the more dangerous. For all we know, the other fillies were already werewolves. Well, Babs started. Then came unsure if she should continue or not. However, the horrified reactions from the elder pony shows she already said enough. No, not Sweetie Belle! Although Sweetie Belle would make the cutest werewolf. She's far too young for this. The thought of her sister befalling such a fate, lay as the series of ponies close to her becoming cursed one by one, shocked her so horribly she couldn't even climb up her emotions. The persistent Rainbow found herself at a loss for words. Although it had only been slightly over a year since she filed the paperwork to be Skulu's mentor, the score had been the little sister Rainbow never had. We said Ryan Scoot's fate hurt Rainbow even more than what Rarity was going through. She was the element of loyalty for Celestia's sake, but she sure... No, thought Das, distressed solely bullying to blistering hot anger. Will not fail her. Not let my little wing point down. Rainbow, you okay? Asked Lightning. For all the time she spent with Rainbow coming to Ponyville, she's never seen Das get this angry. No, I'm not okay, shouted Das. We've done nothing but talk and talk in here, while Fairfist has been doing who knows what to our little sisters. So I don't care what you all decide to do, but I'm going out there without... Rainbow suddenly felt her rear hose being grasped by something. The squeaking examination were now plunged to the floor and held down by Dark Crystal. At least I'm not being grabbed by the tail this time. No, Rainbow. There's a freaking werewolf army in there. You'd be mincemeat well before you got close to the ruins, pointed out Raspberry, much more firm in her voice than before. As loath as I am to say this, we can't send any pony to that hollow bastion who isn't either already a werewolf or isn't otherwise able to survive. good guys of rarity. Only in shock at this point. Inspired Raz to change their next words. Fatal wounds in critical areas of the body. I'm down with that, said Sandalwood. As long as I can kill as many fair fists as I want. Easily, Sandy, warned Applejack, not wanting to have to deal with a repeat of Sandalwood's earlier incident. He turned to Babs. Well, until we can know that the failures are safe, there's still the real chance they could be hurt by Fair Fista if any one of our bodies sees that there's another pony or werewolf other than Blooming and that. So I have to figure it will all need to both be somehow distract all the Fair Fistas and any other ghosts he's got, while the rest of y'all go and save the Phyllis. Though, I'm excited to suspicion. I don't believe you explain how you managed to Fair Fista let you go without being bit or anything, Babs. Oh, that's easy, said Babs, oblivious to Applejack's suspicions of her. What's all Fair Fistas doing? That doesn't explain anything, pointed out Pinky. Babs sighed. Tiara, she's pretty much lost it herself. She's willingly serving Fista and everything as a werewolf, but Silver Sarah gets her will. When Silver was getting me out there, she said she was supposed to have bitten me and made me a werewolf, but she faked it to spare me. Lightning nodded in acknowledgement. Alright, so we might have an ally on our side, but this still doesn't answer how we're going to rescue Scoot or Sweetie.
I've been thinking about that, actually,
popped up Fluttershy.
Raspberry, how hot would you say Heliodor's aura fire can get?
Raspberry scratched her head. I don't have a real measurement or anything, but back when I was making fake precious stones with dark crystals, you held power to blast furnace. I used to artificially pressurize gems, so they look much more like the real ones does, with microscopic fractions and such. Why you ask? Fluttershy smiled.
Simple. Fairfista only demands that Applejack and Apple Bloom be the ponies to go to the ruins. She said nothing about any retribution for their being saying a fire-breathing dragon and a fire-breathing phoenix. To her, they're just animals.
Hey! exclaimed Spike, who had been running around serving minor refreshments to all the ponies. Who's calling me an animal? I was only a dog on the other side of the mirror. Thank you very much. It is tempting to put a Spike put down right here in this comment. I am this close, people. Be glad I am holding back. Easy, Spike, not Twilight.
As I was saying, continued Fluttershy, you get the feelings free from wherever they're held king captive. I'm guessing they're in the old dozen cells or something, so they're prevented from leaving by an old iron bars. And the lock holding your cell or cells closed or simply melting off. Spike and Heliodor and Logan take forever to do it, but together it won't take that much time at all,
fizzed Apple Bloom, jumping to the air glee.
We might actually have a slave ready for Poland.
Her hair started droop. Leah, from face saying like, not throwing a lake of trouble. Well, that once we're done with the bitch, you took Mom and Paul, answered Applejack. So as he was probably too happy at ending all the werewolf nonsense again. I'll guess you got a full plane in your head, Fluttershy? Pegasus nodded.
Uh-huh. That's gonna put you and the Apple Bloom in danger. Possibly more than you've ever been before.
Fluttershy, Sybil won't want me to basically become Fair Fista. Compared to that, the fact she just wants to kill me and Bloom is nothing in comparison. But time is against us, so we need to get this underway as soon as possible. 2 hours later, Fair Fista lay her on her chest, watching the main entrance of the ruined castle lying in wait. She knew her prey would come. She knew they had no choice.
So,
said Tiara, obviously wanting to start a conversation. Her dedication and loyalty were indispensable, but she had much to learn if she was to be Fista's right paw wolf. So what? Snapped Fista. Figuring it was going to be some stupid question.
What was he like? See below, I mean.
The question caught Fista by surprise. It brought a small smile to her face. While normally surprises were to be avoided, small ones like this question didn't liven up things. It was, in a word, wonderful, replied the Alpha, her eyes glossing over slightly as she allowed herself to get lost in her memories. Back when I was still trapped by the restrictions imposed upon me, a mayor born in a society where I was nothing but a homemaker, where I had no ambitions to follow, and life was the same thing day in, day out, Sablon was my savior.
By turning you into a werewolf.
Oh, the day he broke into what had been my prison of a home, he was the breath of fresh air I needed. The thing that saved me from drowning the monotony that had been life. The wild, unrestrained ferocity he radiated was anything I had ever seen at the time. Hilby was also considerably much harder than my former husband had been.
You were married before you partnered with Sable.
Regrettably, along with having a filly. I don't remember the names of either. Well, truth, I don't care. All I know is that they were just 2 more shackles in my life as a pony. Shackles I gladly cast off to enjoy the freedom that becomes with being a werewolf. Plus,
Tiara, Fista,
cried out Silver, running out from behind the fence boy.
the apples are here. Something actually showed up, grunted Tiara. Didn't think he had the spine.
Oh, on the contrary, I know they come, remarked Vista. After all, they just had to save their little friends in the most precisely dumb manner possible. Come along, you two. Time to tie up loose ends.
Are you sure about this, Sleece?
Ventured Applebloom.
I mean, I told you rescuing Sleece, Skew, and Silver, but...
Yeah, it's probably traps can. Grumbled Applejack. As like I said earlier, so we can get the upper hoof. We gotta play by her rules. Besides, I also do have a question or two I want to ask her. The sisters didn't say much else, as by that point they had passed under what was left of the castle's main gate. While it hadn't been mentioned where exactly they were supposed to come from, Vista seemed almost instinctive to the apples that the showdown would begin in the ruined courtyard. Indeed, the second they entered it, the first stood up on end. Ah, and here they are at last, came the sing-song voice of Fair Vista, stopping short just as her eyes went wide. Wow, you really do look like money. Considering how your little boy decided to try and make me your successor, flatly replied Applejack, that's honestly old news. As much as I still love Sable, the idea of a wretch like you could ever take my place in full is laughable. You're one of the worst werewolves I ever lived. Applejack gritted her teeth, already unlocking his sharp tips. You make it sound like I had a choice, when I had no say in becoming a freak like you or him. It's like you didn't give my folks a chance when you turned them into werewolves 11 years ago. Is that why you killed Sable? Because of some friends need a dead parent complex or something?
Actually,
interrupted Applebloom.
Applejack owed a real deal to your feelings foul blow. The one who actually did the most butt whooping was the Minotaur. So you're saying Iron Will's a fraud, then?
He nodded tones of Diamond Tiara, the pink werewolf emerging on the right side of Fair Vista. Her counterpart, Silver Spoon, emerged from the left. Though like the other two, she did not smile or at all look happy. There were suddenly sounds coming from all around, and there were pink eyes suddenly illuminating with their dark glow. Applejack just rolled her eyes. Alright, look. Before you start throwing copies of yourself, ass, Vista, I just want to know one thing. Vista raised an eyebrow. What would that be? Why my parents? I need to know why you decided to send my parents to their fate of werewolves. Why my sister has to grow up when the only family she interacts with on daily business is her 2 older siblings and our grandmother. Green Werewolf smirked. So, fine. You must know it's true and nothing personal. Sable's going to use these ruins as the base for his new werewolf army. Of course, that army would need to be fed. Thus, we would need farmers to grow the crops to feed the pack. Well, gradually, I had to guess Sable killed them for being utter failures as werewolves in one way or another. It's fortunate you brought this matter up, as I know you're a farmer just as much as your parents. Over my dead body! Snarled Applejack, instantly sinking into her canine form. Applebloom followed suit, ready to back up her older sister. Such heroic nonsense. But commendable, really, since it's not like that will get. Ah! Mrs. Taunting was suddenly interrupted by something having ambushed her, sinking her fangs through the throat. So violent swinging managed to free her neck, but not before the insistence went deep enough that I struggled to breathe, both without raspiness and making the bloody wounds bleed more profusely were there already. At the same time, Silver Spoon got from where she was tossed, which happened to be right in front of the apples, wiped the blood from her muzzle. For Celestia's sake, do you ever shut up about how you're so much better than everybody else just because of your self-important werewolf bullshit? Silver, what are you doing? Shouted Tiara. I guess her, now once again ex-best friend had done. Is constantly betraying your allies a hobby for you or something? The Grey Werewolf just raised her eyes. Is it really a bad thing when I betray the same ponies twice? For the same reason both times, because I have moral standards.
Yeah, your sister. Silver, your sister bleach.
Answered Apple Bloom with a grin, which in turn only got an eye of your serious glare from the bicycle trader. You're gonna be a dead bitch in the manse, just like the rest of you. Mr. Fine managed to say a complete sentence, but as he declared open hostility immediately. The courtyard became an arena, a sea of identical fair-fisted clones, snarling and yapping at the trio now stuck in the middle. I do hope you have a plan, right? Asked Silver, worried she might become a liability. Of course, replied Applejack. Where's Saxon? It had not been a response Silver had been hoping for. There was no time for clarification as the mass of fair-fisted surged forward, and the circle had complete. As he frantically fought for her life, Silver now hoped that whatever this plan was, it would save the Crusaders to stop Fair Fista, even if in the end she lost herself in its currents.
Hello?
Sad called Leslie.
Hello? Hey, wolf boy thing.
Said Skulu.
This is kind of important.
Fair Fista sat in charge of guarding his cell. In the event of the rest of the Ponyville trying to mount a rescue operation, Scalzies glared back at the Weltzer pen. What? So he started dancing out of place rapidly.
I really gotta go potty.
So, retorted Skulu. You expect her to just do her business in here? I don't see why not. The clone emphasized the last word, making it clear she was not going to let the pair out no matter what.
Because we don't want to be in a stinky, rotten old toilet of our own filth?
Now the copy had started second thoughts. While she was simple-minded enough that she had no qualms about being left out of the battle at the moment in the courtyard, she was certainly wary of having to be stuck guarding. The train of thought and the reflection had been interrupted by the sound of something in the area. Who goes there? Barked the guard. No response, but instinctively she could feel the presence of another creature. Clearly you have a death wish, either for you or these pups. You're still around here, but if that's the case, then show yourself now! The answer was a squawk. Then, literally falling from the sky, a pink fuzzy thing slammed to the ground. Picked itself up, albeit in a dazed state. It was a stupid-looking bird. Was it even a bird? No matter. It was a life form the clone thought funny. Well, looks like I got my dinner early. The clone was pleased, moving away from the gate towards the bird thing. But even though she was a magical construction, she still needed to eat. However, when she was right on top of the bumbling thing, there was a gleam in its eye, and suddenly shot green fire in the face of the werewolf. Ah! The fisted clone reared up on its hind paws, the fire spurring her face severely. She did not see the baby dragon steam over its hind, and bathed her in a different green fire, one that made her fans for view altogether in a flash.
So, Spike? Squeaked Gulu. You here to save us?
Yeah, answered the heroic Drake.
Me and Heliodor.
You know, guys, I think it says a lot something for some of you Spike fans that this is like probably one of the only times, in fact, on these fanfics that we've done so far where Spike actually does something. I mean, I got Beauty and the Beast, and that's it. Most of the time, he's just the romantic lead. In the midst of his name, the sick birdie became shrouded in a cloak of emeralds, which dispelled shortly, revealing he's still perfectly healthy.
But what did you do with the guard?
Asked Lee, who was no longer needed to use the bathroom. It had only been attempted ruse anyway. See what, Chip? Critically replied Spike, running alongside Heliodor to melt the lock off. The fist of clone materialized in midair, only to fall to the ground with a thud. Her face nearly been burned off, and now no clue where she was. But she was well aware of not being alone. Hello there, remarked Daffodil, holding up a bat-wing to a group of charges wearing their lances. And goodbye. Oh, fuck me.
Well, you guys give out metal?
Asked Lewis eyes.
Well, yeah. We breathe fire. Kind of a given, isn't it?
That's a lot, replied Spike, defeating something just above his right, nodding in agreement.
Well, thanks for rescuing us, squeaked Lee. But what are we going to do about the other werewolves? There's got to be like a bazillion other Fair Fista copies along with the original. And then there's Simon TR, who's just as bad as Fair Fista.
Don't worry, we planned for all that. Spike produced a raspberry barrel gemstone out of nowhere.
Yui, it's all on you, bro.
Heliodor called it the acknowledgement. He had the gem in his talons, then went flying, flapping, soared to the sky. He didn't stop until he was as high as the tallest remaining spire in the castle of Everfree. At this point, he threw the precious stone in the air. The red gem caught the moonlight, sending rays of dark color all over the ruins before gravity pulled it back down and smashed right in front of Fair Fista. The real Fair Fista.
What the?
Replied the werewolf. Consigliere calls all immediately looking at her direction, worried that their template was in danger. Solitary, however, when it was suddenly a honking noise at the base of the ruins, followed by howls and cries.
Keep fighting, you fools!
Sighed Fista, retreating her copy surged forward again. True Alpha ascended from her vantage point from before, only to see a terrible sight. There, illuminated by the light of some strange wheeled contraption themed on apples, were reinforcements for Appletech and Apple Bloom. Surrounded by dared werewolves, Vista recognized the werewolf Pegasus from Nightmare Night, along with a tan pony seemed to be holding back for some reason. So you the one the clones had been sent to capture those young ponies and reported to her as the bitten one? Ready to move on and attack. Behind the truck, the form of guards ponies could be seen darting out of sight, probably surrounding the entire ruin to ensure no werewolf had escaped. Most worryingly was the unicorn in front of it all, the one with purple haze around her horn.
Pity you aren't here, love,
whispered Fista. She knew the situation was bad, almost as certain as her trump card of having those two fillies in her grip had been undone. It's that damn Phoenix lighting up the whole place with that gem as a signal. Somehow, despite there being almost 1,000 of her, the almost insignificantly small trio of werewolves were holding their own. Now, not only there were 2 more enemy wolves joining the battle, but there was only one non-lycanthrope who Fair Fista really hoped would not have gotten involved. Like the last time they found these same ruins, there's no escape as the guards were all around the perimeter. Sable would have loved the thrill of having to fight to his last breath in these circumstances, but the same could not be said of Fair Fista. But even if he wasn't going to make it, he would at the very least give him Fens and the apples for having killed Sable. It was what he had originally set out to do. To her last breath, he was sure that he at least defends the greatest werewolf who ever lived.
Lon Chaney?
But he slunk back into the shadows to wait. He was going to assure it was on her terms.